What if I told you there's a country frozen in time where classic cars still rule the streets, where the economy is tightly controlled, and yet hidden beneath all of that are business opportunities that almost no one talks about? Sounds impossible, right? But here's the problem. Most people hear Cuba and instantly assume one thing: no business opportunities. And that's exactly why they never look deeper. Most people get this wrong, but here's why: they judge the system from the outside without understanding how it actually works. And the surprising truth about Cuba is this: it does allow business activity, but in a very controlled, very specific way. And that's where things get interesting. But this is where it gets serious. Cuba is not like any other country we've talked about. You cannot just register a company the way you would in Europe, Asia, or even other parts of Latin America. If you don't understand the system, you won't even get past step one. So in this video, we're going to break down exactly how business registration works in Cuba, what an LLC really means in this context, and whether this is even a realistic option for you. Let's start with the story. Meet Daniel. Daniel runs a small hospitality consulting business in the U.S. He specializes in helping boutique hotels grow. One day, he visits Cuba. At first, it's just a trip, but something catches his attention: the tourism potential, the demand, the gaps. He notices something strange. Tourists are coming, but services are limited. Experiences are inconsistent. And he starts thinking, what if I could build something here? That question changes everything, because sometimes opportunity doesn't look like opportunity at first. Now, before we follow Daniel further, we need to understand something critical. Cuba does not operate like a free market economy. And this changes everything. There is no direct equivalent of a typical LLC for foreign entrepreneurs in Cuba. Let me say that again. You cannot simply go online, fill out a form, and register a company. This is where most people stop, but this is where understanding begins. In Cuba, most business activity falls into two categories: small private businesses known as Cuentapropistas, and foreign investment through joint ventures or government-approved enterprises. And this is where things get interesting, because while the system is restricted, it is not closed. Now let's go back to Daniel. He realizes something important. If he wants to operate in Cuba, he cannot do it alone. He needs to work within the system. So he starts exploring the legal pathways. And this leads him to the most realistic option for foreign investors: joint ventures. Now let's break this down step by step. Step 1: defining your business idea. In Cuba, your business idea must align with government priorities. And here's the surprising truth: not all industries are open. Tourism, agriculture, and infrastructure are among the more active sectors. Daniel focuses on tourism consulting because it aligns with national priorities. And this is critical, because without alignment, nothing moves forward. Now step 2: finding a local partner or government connection. This is where things get real. You cannot operate independently. You must work with a Cuban entity. This could be a state-owned company or an approved partner. And here's the key: this is not optional. Daniel spends months building relationships, because in Cuba, relationships are everything. Now step 3: submitting a proposal. This is where the process becomes formal. You must present your business idea to the Cuban authorities. And this is not just paperwork. It's a full evaluation. Does your project benefit the country? Does it align with economic goals? Does it bring value? Daniel prepares a strong proposal. He focuses on tourism development and service improvement. And this step takes time. Now step 4: government approval. This is the most challenging step, because approval is not guaranteed, and timelines are unpredictable. Daniel waits. Weeks turn into months. This is where most people give up. But Daniel doesn't, because he understands this is not a fast market. This is a long-term play, and eventually his proposal is approved. Now everything changes, because he is officially allowed to operate within the system. Now step 5: forming the business structure. In most cases, this will be a joint venture with a Cuban entity. And here's the key: ownership is shared, control is structured, and operations must follow regulations. Daniel works closely with legal experts, because this is not a process you can navigate alone. Now step 6: setting up operations. Once approved, you can begin operating. But here's the problem: you must follow strict guidelines. Pricing, employment, and operations are regulated. This is where it gets serious, because this is not a free market environment. But Daniel adapts, because he understands something important: opportunity exists within constraints. Now let's pause for a moment, because you might be thinking this sounds extremely difficult. Why would anyone do this? And that's the right question, because this is where the story shifts. 6 months later, Daniel's perspective has completely changed. He's not operating like he would in the US. He's not scaling rapidly, but he's positioned in a market with massive long-term potential. He's building relationships, understanding the system, and creating a foundation. This is the hidden payoff, not speed but positioning. Now let's be real. Cuba is not for everyone, and this is where it gets serious. You cannot operate freely. You cannot scale quickly. You must work within strict regulations. This is where it gets dangerous. If you expect a typical business environment, you will fail. But if you understand the system, you can find opportunities others never see. Now let's bring everything together. Registering an LLC equivalent in Cuba involves defining a business aligned with government priorities, building local partnerships, submitting a formal proposal, obtaining government approval, forming a joint venture, operating within strict regulations. Simple steps on paper, but complex in reality. And here's the deeper insight. Most people miss this. Isn't just about Cuba. It's about understanding different systems, because not every market operates the same way. And the moment you learn to adapt, you unlock opportunities others never even consider. Now here's the question you need to ask yourself. Are you only willing to operate in familiar systems, or are you ready to understand new ones? Because that decision can define your future. And if you've stayed with me this far, you're already thinking differently. You're not just chasing easy opportunities. You're exploring real ones. And that's what makes you business-minded. So if this gave you a new perspective, make sure to subscribe, because we're diving deeper into global business, complex markets, and strategies that most people never even consider. And trust me, the next opportunity you're looking for might not be obvious, but that's exactly why it's valuable.